Recording started. Monumental Mindsets
Let's
podcast episode number 1, baby. Let's do it.
do it, baby.
All right. Where do we start?
We're here, baby. Let's do it.
Oh my
So,
gosh, so funny.
maybe go ahead and explain what monumental mindsets is, huh? What's our
Man, monumental mindsets. I think monumental mindsets is just about having, it's about, well, like I think for us, right? Like for us it was about going through like these huge disasters, these huge kind of like catastrophic events inside of your life, and then just, having the resiliency and just having like this like the power to kind of like, train your mind and just kind of like get over the hurdle and just make sure that like, that like you're strong on the other side of it, right? But like being monumental doesn't mean that like, like, yeah, like I wrote about yesterday or whatever, like it's going to be easy. It's going to be fucking hard, right? And it's just like weathering the storms and getting over those hurdles and just kind of, making sure that like your mind is, built for this, right?
Mhm. Yeah, man. I mean, in life in general, man, you go through so many tough moments, and I mean, me personally, or I've always been struggling, with a lot of mental battles and stuff, and been through a lot of things mentally, emotionally, and over the last 6 months, man, we just changed our lives so drastically. Where I'm like, let's fucking do something with this, and hopefully it can affect other people as well, going through some shit. It's and it feels great, man. I've never felt this good in my life, and there's so much more to do. It's been six months. Like the crazy change you can make in 6 months in your mindset is
Mm-hmm.
impeccable. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm using it, and I think it is a word. I don't know if I'm using it right, but but it just feels so much better. I feel uplifted. You sometimes you get stuck in that dark place. You go through so many failures. You're like, why is this happening to me? And you got to stop those questions of why it's happening to you. It's happening for you. You go through these
Uh-huh.
rough patches in your life, and you turn that into gold, baby. It's you you feel the struggle, you feel the pressure, you turn that pressure and you turn it into diamonds, right? That's how diamonds are made, under pressure. And
Mm-hmm.
you come out of that a warrior, man. And just I feel great. You feel great. We've been through this battle together over the last 6 months. We've been through some shit, and we're here to talk about it, man. And just
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can, you know,
Yeah, I think like that's, it's like beautiful, right? Like it sucks, right? Because like when you first start getting it, like when you first start going through, like some really dark times or like something really bad happens in your life, like you feel like it's never gonna stop, right? And like you keep like, at least for me, I was like, man, fuck. I was like, it's never gonna end, like the torture, the torment or whatever. But like, one of like the great things and like number one, right, like I have to say like, thanks for being like a mentor, like thanks for being like somebody who's just like, you are so much more ahead of me like with this, on the curve of that, because like, when we went through it at the same time, but like we didn't know that we kind of went through it at the same time. And then all of a sudden like at softball we're kind of just like, hey, and I was like, oh hey, and like, it was kind of like really funny. But like, you know it was like, one of the things that you taught me is just like, like sit in the pain, like realize the pain. And it's like almost like that, visualizing it, right? Like visualizing where you fucked up with it, visualizing, but it's like when you sit in there, right? You get to take ownership and you get to take accountability of that. And I think that's what's so powerful about it. I think until you start taking accountability of like what you did before, or like, realizing that where you are now is exactly where you deserve it, right? Like,
yeah,
and most people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear like, oh, you know that like, they don't want to hear like, things are wrong in my life and it's your fault, right? Because they don't want to take accountability of that, because you know they want to put the accountability on somebody else, like, oh, it was my mom, it was my dad, it was my friends or whatever. It was the circle of influence that I was, around when I was growing up. And you know I think like at the end of the day, like, once you start taking accountability, like once you start, visualizing like, oh yeah, like I did kind of fuck that up or whatever, like
mhm.
that's where the true power is, right? And that's where like you can start to develop a new mindset around something.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, the true power is just taking accountability for everything in your life. Don't blame it on your environment. Don't blame it on the people around you. Don't blame it on things that happen to you, because you only focus on what you can control, right? And then
Mhm.
you know it when these when these things are happening to you and you get so consumed by them, stop for a moment. Think you have consciousness, right? So you make the best of that decision and just, you know, you have the power to do what you want with it, right? If something bad happens
Mhm.
to you, you can sit there and be a victim, or you can be like, no, fuck this shit. You know, I'm gonna power through it, and I'm gonna become stronger because of it. And everyone has that choice. It's not easy. It's not easy to sit there and realize and do that, right? Because you get so stuck in all these moments in your life. You get so many things happen to you over time, and they pile up, and you feel so consumed by all this negativity or whatever it may be in your life, and it's hard to get out of. But you gotta take that first step and say, I'm accountable for my own life. You know,
Mhm.
you can't depend on anyone else to make you happy. You can't depend on anybody else to get you out of it. It's you and your mind, and you got to take control of your mind. Once you let your mind control you, that's game over. So
Mhm.
you got to take control of your mind. That's step one, and this journey in general. Just realizing you have control. You got to control your emotions, control your actions, control everything. You got to take control, and
Mhm.
that's step one in my opinion. Is you take control of your mind. Once your mind controls you, that's tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I 100% agree, man, because like, you hear people like, the infamously banned everywhere Andrew Tate, or like you hear about like all these other people, and they just tell you, they're just like, the number one currency inside of the world is like your mind, right? Because this is the only thing that nobody can take away from you, right?
Mhm.
And as soon as people start going like, oh yeah, like nobody can take this thing away from me, nobody, this is, something that you can make it as like, referencing it to like the gym or something, right? But this is you can make it as strong as you want it to, and you can also make this thing like as brittle as you want it to too, right?
Yep.
Like if you're just feeding it fucking nonsense and garbage and bullshit and fucking, processed, fucking CNN bullshit, or, I mean, not all of it is bullshit on CNN or whatever, right? But like, but if you just keep on feeding it just like, non-monumental stuff, it's like it's never gonna grow and be strong. It's just gonna, kind of stay stuck inside of like this limiting, in this, in the limiting belief of life, right? In the limiting belief of like, oh, I'm just from this small town. Oh, I'm just from, and it's not necessarily that you even have to move from the small town, right? You
Right.
don't like, but you have to, and not you, right? But I'm saying like, people out there, like they have to realize that like, you don't want to just, feed it, fucking, bullshit or whatever, right? Like you really want to feed it like, powerful things like like seminars, like, Tony Robbins, like Les Brown, like, like books, like, the Level Up book, or like, just anything that you can just to make it, strong and resilient, right? And to kind of bring it back to like the gym metaphor, right? It's just like, you can go to the gym and like you can just stretch or whatever, but it doesn't mean you're going to be strong. You might be limber, but you won't be strong, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that like your muscles are going to be, activating or whatever. It's just like you're stretching them out, right? But like if you get under the bench and you get under the squat or the dumbbell or the deadlift or something, it's like, yeah, eventually, like if you keep pushing the weight and you keep, putting the stimulus inside of your muscles to say like, hey, we need to grow, we need to get bigger, right? And you feed it correctly, right? You start feeding it like the things that are like protein and amino acids and all that stuff, right? Like of course you're going to get strong. And I think it's the same way with the mind, right? Like the more you feed yourself books, right? And the more like, like the Level Up book, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People book, like all those things, like the more you feed it, right, the stronger it's going to get, the more resilient it's going to get.
Right, man. I mean, what you feed your mind and your body, that's kind of when I say taking control of your mind, that's kind of step one is what you're feeding yourself, right? If you feed
Mhm.
yourself all this negative negativity, which is where I was stuck, right? I listened to all this negative emotional music, I, you know, put myself in negative situations, out drinking, partying all the time, and all that stuff, growing
I
up.
want to I want to touch on that music thing real quick because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
did mention that. So you did mention that, like when it was like back in September, you did mention something like that, and I was like, oh, I was like, I wonder if like, because I was listening to like, and I love Jake Hill, right? Like Jake
yeah.
Hill is like, he's one of my favorite artists, like for like rap or like pop or whatever. But
Hmm.
like, he's really sad, like he's sad boy shit, like but I love him, right? Like I ended up meeting the guy at one of the shows that I did for him, and but he was But like his music is really dark and depressing. And when you said that, you were like, "Hey, man," you're just like, I'm watching the music I'm listening to or whatever. I'm just like, and you were sending me like that one guy who was like really positive doing the screamo stuff. What was his name?
Yeah. I can't remember right now.
You know which one I'm talking about, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you just sent me a song the other day. It was like real positive and stuff,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This is so funny." But like, I remember like, I was like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "If you like, it is literally what you feed your mind, right?" And it even boils down to the music, right? Like if you're listening to like rap, and I'm not saying rap is bad, right? I love rap,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like if they're just talking about selling drugs and like killing people all day, it's just like that's garbage for your mind,
Right. No,
you
it's
know.
100%, and
But
it's
like to pump you up in the gym, it's good. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But
yeah,
like,
there's a time and place for it, but if you consume yourself into it all the time, and almost for me, right, it's like I created this character in my life of like I'm this negative, depressed boy, listening to this emo music, I'm a sad, I'll never find love, and
mhm,
I'm fucked in the head. I fed myself that all my life. Like I'm fucking crazy. And it's just, I fed myself this and I created this character because I said it in my head so many times where I believe it, right? And
mhm.
you have the power to turn that around, and kill that old self and become someone new. Now I'm a positive, driven man. It's crazy how like
Mhm,
in 6 months, like I could say 6 months ago, I was just I was just had this unhealed boy in me that was so negative and said, I'm never gonna find true love. I'm not worthy of life. Like this is sad shit, but this is how I felt 6 months ago. I'm just kind of
mhm,
opening up, being vulnerable, and it's I felt like there's nothing in life for me anymore. It was a
mhm,
crazy moment in my life, and like you get in that dark spot and you label whatever you tell yourself, whatever you feed yourself, you label yourself. That is powerful, So
mhm,
when I'm telling myself all this stuff, I'm believing it, and then when you believe it, it's going to become true, right? So why not believe in something positive to become, that positive entity that you want to become that positive character, right? It's like when Tony Robbins is saying, um, what character do you want to be in the movie, right? It's you think of that character and put that in your head, and you put that in your head and you believe you're that person every single day. Find your identity, right? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And feed yourself that every day. And I will do this. There's
mhm,
nothing's gonna stop me. And then over time, dude, it's crazy the quantum leaps you can make in your life. Just having that positive mindset and saying, I am worthy. I am the best. I am going to do this. I'm going, to show love this way. And you just have that positive mindset and feed yourself that every fucking day you wake up. Be grateful you're alive and wake up every day. Everyone gets to wake up in the morning. Be
yeah,
grateful. Be happy where you're at. Don't focus on the negative. Whatever you focus on, you're gonna that's gonna be you, right? Whatever you believe is gonna be you. And that's such a powerful thing of the subconscious mind. When you feed yourself these things, and you got to make sure you focus on the positive because the negative is so much stronger than the positive. So once you get in that
mhm,
negative loop, it just keeps on going and going and going. So
mhm. Yeah, yeah. One of like I think I was telling you maybe like last week or something that what I was gonna do, but I actually ended up doing it. Like, right, because me and Joanna were kind of talking about, we were talking about like some business stuff or whatever, and like kind of like some goals that we want to like kind of like accomplish or whatever. And I was like, wait, I was like, I've been thinking about doing this for like a long time, and I was like, come on, come upstairs, right?
right.
And I took my marker and I went straight to like the mirror and I wrote it's possible, right? And then I wrote like on her side what we were talking about, like the business number that we want to kind of like accomplish like for this year.
Hmm.
And I wrote it on her side too, so that like every morning, like when we wake up, right? Because I do like that. Well, for other people, right? But like, I do like I wake up between like 5:15, 5:30, like every single day. But like when I wake up, it's like you should have like the Tony Robbins and like all them, they say like have a map, right? Like a massive action plan, have a vision, right? And then take action on those things.
Hmm.
But one of the things that like, and I think that something that you were trying to kind of like allude to is like kind of like affirmations and incantations, right? Where it's just like everything that you tell yourself, you can tell yourself that you're depressed, you can tell yourself that you're worthless, you can tell yourself that I'm just a boy or whatever, right? But and that's how you start to heal yourself, is like acknowledging that like those are the things that like are inside of you,
Hmm.
and then just being like, and then just kind of being like, okay, like, how do I change that, right? First, I'm aware of it, right? And then you start telling yourself different things. No, I'm strong. I'm lovable. I am somebody who deserves love, right? Like I am somebody who's powerful. I can, kind of like, because like for me, like trying to learn like a second language, like I am somebody who can learn a second language. Like
Right,
we can make a podcast. You know what I mean? Like telling yourselves I can or like it's possible is
right.
so powerful, right? And so that's one of the things that on my side, right?
Mhm.
I wrote it on the mirror and I put it's possible and like I just circled it, right? Because like every morning, like when I wake up, right, I want to make sure that like I'm telling myself something positive, right? Barker. I'd have to hold my dog up like this
Yeah.
because they're so fucking big. But but yeah, like like I think that's what I think is like the big shift for people. Like people are always looking, I think, for like the magic thing
Right,
that's huge, right? Like they're looking for like the biggest thing. Like what's the secret? Like what can I incorporate inside of my life right now to like lose weight immediately, right?
right.
But it's not that. It's like it's every day that you have to do something really small to get you to the part that you want to get to, right?
Yep.
And I think like when people like start like looking at it like that, like how do I attack today? And just like James Clear says, right? Like how do I attack today and just become 1% better, right? And at the end of the year, when you start adding up like your 1% over the year over 365 days, you become 36.5% better, you know?
Right.
And I think like that I think that is the secret, right? Like changing your mind is the secret. Like just telling yourself like, "Hey, yesterday I didn't tell myself enough that I was powerful, right? Or that I was strong or that I was lovable." You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
think like once people start making a shift like that, that's when you become powerful. That's when everything starts to change.
Right, and it's just recognizing those patterns, right? And that's the hardest part is pattern recognition of your negative, loops you get into. Once you
Mhm.
recognize that pattern, like, you recognize it and create new patterns, right? And to create those new patterns, you got to be truthful to yourself, right? You can't lie to yourself, and you got to be truthful how you are today and what you're saying to yourself and all this, and then change that around, create new habits. And it's not easy. It's got to happen over time. Like you said, everyone wants this instant fix. Wave the magic wand,
Mhm.
Harry Potter, kapoof, whatever you say,
Kapoof.
kapoof. What was it, Shazam, Zazoozle? I don't know words, but it's you're not gonna wake up one day and say I'm the fucking man on top of the mountain. It's you got to take step by step by step. Sometimes you're gonna fall back a little bit, and when you fall back,
Mhm.
you get your ass back up, and you learn from those, mistakes or whatever you make along the way. The biggest thing that holds you back from a lot of that is fear, right? Fear of change, fear of not being who you are, fear of this, but like you can't fear change, right? Say I'm an 18-year-old boy. If I had the same mentality when I'm 18, now I'm what? How old am I? I'm almost to be 33. You're not gonna be grateful for the life. You're not grateful. What's the word I'm looking for? You're just not gonna be fulfilled in life, right? You're not taking those steps in life and meeting that identity that you want to have. You have different goals from when you're 18 from when you're 33, right? And when you're stuck, you get stuck in the past, or you stuck like, oh no, this is me, this is who I am, and you can't be the same person for the rest of your life.
That's
That
such a good point. That's such a good and powerful point because like, when people when they I feel like so much unrealized potential is because people like are so stuck in like I
yeah,
was my best in high school or
right,
I was my best when I was 20.
right,
Like why can't you be so much unrealized potential, I think, is because, like, people are just so stuck in that mentality that, like, I'm I'm only as good as high school or, like, this is when I look the best. Like, no, you can still become powerful and strong and, like, you can be a great looking, like you're fucking super sexy, you know what I mean? Like, you're probably bigger than you were in high school, but, like, but it's different though because, like, you're not stuck in, like, the past, right? But, like, a lot of people are, they're like,
I used
it's
to be
that.
stuck. Yeah, you get stuck in the past, right? Like I look at the past, this is who I am, this is what I liked when I was, like when I'm whatever how old I am, I like to drink, I like to play video games all the time. that's what I did when I was younger, right? So as I got older, I'm like, I'm doing the same things, doing the same thing. This is me. This is me. But no, it's not.
Mhm.
You know, I'm growing. I'm a man. I need to change. Your priorities change over time, and you got to learn new habits. You know, you got to basically, like I said, kill your old self and become someone else. You know, it's
Mhm.
it's like that the the thing I was telling you the other day, like your Caterpie going into Metapod and then to Butterfree. Fans out there, you know, it's your little Caterpie, you know, whatever. And then you're evolving, right? Evolving to this Metapod, and you got to have that patience to become who you're gonna be, right? Become this man, you know. You got to have that patience. You got to put in the work. Put in the work. Anything in life, you got to put in the work. I don't care what anybody says. You know, you can't just sit there and say, "Oh, one day life's gonna be great." You know, I don't want to
Mhm.
be the happiest man alone. You know, something's gonna happen. No, you got to take charge. You got to take charge.
Mhm.
You got to take you know, you got to read the books. You got to put in the work at the gym. You got to change your diet. You got to, you know, surround yourself with positive people.
Barker.
Parker agrees. That's why he's barking. He's like, hell yeah, right, Parker? You know, positivity. Honestly, like you surround yourself with positive people, like-minded people. That propels you to that next step. Now I'm a fucking butterfree floating through the air. You know, it's I'm feeling good. You know, I feel great today because the people I'm surrounding myself with, I'm changing my habits, changing the people you know I'm talking to, and just connecting on that level. Like me and you, for example, man, we reconnected and we created such a strong, positive bond, and we're both on this journey together. Like without you, man, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, I've been through a lot of shit. Um, you know, I sat down and I had this breakthrough, right? I'm like, fuck, I need to change my life around, you know. 6 months ago, I need to change my life around. I lost everything. I'm like, man, what do I do? You know, and we reconnected. We're both going through some tough times, and you know, we sat down, read some books, shared ideas on how we can get better over time. Over time, we just lift each other up. You know, we're on this journey together, and to have you know that partner to kind of push you through it and that's a huge help, man. You know, I appreciate all that and this friendship, man. I love you. This is awesome, man. Like
Dude,
this is
I
amazing.
brother, I
Really
love you too,
positive
man.
in my life, and like everyone like realizes it. You know, it's like, man, Tim's positive now. What the fuck? He was that emotional sad boy, you know. And it's like, no, I'm not that person anymore. I killed it. You know, I took the shotgun, poof, gone. You know. Now he's a,
Resident Evil 4?
I love that
Me
game.
too. Did you get the remake?
I did not. Did you?
I Yeah, I got the remake. I only played like 5 minutes because I was trying to play with Milo, and
Yeah.
he was, like, hiding behind the pillow, but he was really interested in it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm not gonna ruin his mind right now." I'm like,
Right.
"He's still so innocent and likes Pokemon."
Yeah. I know, man. Blast those zombies. Those zombies are your old self, you know. Boom, boom. You know. It's just like you just gotta get rid of it, man. You gotta move on. It's a shell of your old self, man. You can't just keep on reminiscing on the past. You gotta,
What a good shell of your old self. Wow, that's beautiful.
yeah, man. You don't want you just gotta keep on growing, man. It's like a snake when they keep on shedding their skin and growing, or any reptile, you know. It's just like shed that old skin and grow, baby. You know, it's become a man, become who you want to be, whoever you want to become. Set those goals, set those habits, and that's who you're gonna become. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, yeah, and first of all, like, man, I love you too, man, like, for real, dude, like, I would not I'm sure that I would not have come out on the other side of this, like, how I feel like I am now without you, like, that is 1,000,000% sure, dude, like, you've given me so much, like, wisdom and guidance, and, you like, even when I was, like, super, super down, like, I remember, like, there was one day I was like, "Fuck," I was like, "Today is just, like, the worst day ever." And then, like, you're like like, I didn't text you back for a couple of days. It was, like, back in, like, October or something. You're just like, "Hey, man," you're just like, "Just checking up on you, just making sure everything is good or whatever." And I appreciated that so much because it felt like, and you know what's so important is because I felt like somebody cared, you know? And I think, like, that was like, for the first time, like, I didn't feel alone, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like there and even though I knew that, like, you were going through this, like, I just felt like I couldn't reach out, and I felt like I was like, "No, I can't show my weakness, I can't show my vulnerability or whatever," right? and I was like afraid to like open up and like, kind of give you the whole story or whatever. But eventually, like, I think, and I think like, what people should take from this is just like, you have to trust somebody. Like,
Right.
you, not anybody, right? You can't just trust anybody and give them all like the tool or the keys to like your soul or whatever. But I think, for the most part, like if anybody's like going through something out there, it's just like you have to find somebody that you can, really trust and like you can really kind of connect with, right? Because if you don't have somebody like that, like you're not, it's going to be really hard for you to heal and to grow and to kind of like get out of what situation that you feel like you're in, even if it's just like you inside of like your mom's house or whatever, and you're, like you're just like sitting there crying in the pillow or something, right? Like, you know that might be hard for you, right? That might be the hardest day of your life because she just yelled at you or something, right? Like, but that's okay. Just find somebody to talk to about it and you'll feel so much better, right? And
Right.
that's why, like, I'm kind of required to go to therapy now because it's kind of like something that like me and Joanna like talked about. She's like, you're going to be in therapy. I'm just like, fuck, okay, whatever. Like, I'll do it.
Mhm.
But like, but at the same time, like when you were like talking about like not like when you stopped going to therapy, I was like, man, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Because like I think it's like if you talk about the wrong things with the wrong people and you focus on the wrong things, like that's poisonous for your mind, right?
Right.
So I think like you have to kind of like, figure out how to control, what you're talking about and who you control who you're talking about it with, right? Because like for instance, like if me and you are here just like complaining and bitching about life or whatever, right? Like it would be terrible, right?
Right.
This would be something that like nobody would ever want to listen to. They'd be like, man, what bad advice, right? And
Exactly,
or
man.
some people who wanted bad advice, they'd be like,
Right.
what a great fucking podcast, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like it's just having like a really good filter, a really good gauge, and like, and yeah, man, like I just, I just want to say, man, like, dude, thank you, because like I said at the beginning, man, like you've been such a mentor to me, been so wise, like you've been like, man, like I'm telling you, I wouldn't feel like I'm as good as I am now if it wasn't for you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. And same to you, man. Like I said, it's just, without you, I wouldn't pick up certain books and read them. And these books, it's crazy because I've never read a day in my fucking life. I've been to college my whole life. I'd never read books. It's like I never liked reading ever. It's just like I like play video games and I can math problems, whatever. I'm not gonna read the book. I'll just do some math problem, whatever. Yeah, I never enjoyed reading, right? And then like you always told me about these books and this and that. And I pick up these books, I start reading, dude. It's like cocaine. Not that I know what cocaine feels like. It got addicting because it's all this like, wow, I can really change my life around. Like the Seven Habits book was such an amazing book. Level Up book, Atomic Habit, like all these books. You're feeding your mind, right? You feed your
Mhm.
mind all this positivity. This is possible. This is possible. This is possible. I can do it. You know, not like not feeding yourself all this negative stuff because if you're consuming, if you're sitting on the couch chugging a beer and watching the news saying, oh, 1,000 people died today, and the weather's a little snowy and it's icy out, and all this
Better not go drive. Better
yeah,
not drive anywhere.
oh, they put all this fear in you, I don't want to get into like all this conspiracy stuff, but like, man, like, come on, like the media is such a negative brainwashing avenue, and it's just like, just one advice, limit yourself to the news, be not just news, but just anything that enters your mind, right? Just
Mhm.
be able to notice what's negative, what's positive, and what's gonna motivate you to be more positive. Like don't take in all this negativity, right? And for me, my parents always grew up watching the news, watching the news, watching the news, and it's funny because my dad literally like the news will say something, and then my dad will repeat it really loud so my mom can hear it in the other room, and it's just like what is this? I love my parents, everything for me, but it's like there's certain things where it's like, come on, it's just so much negativity, right? And they feed themselves all this negativity, and then they're passing it on to me. But then again, right? I need to take control of myself and not let all this negativity infiltrate me, right? So never put that as an excuse for yourself. I'm just saying it's easier when you're not having all this negativity flowing into you, right? But you
Mhm.
still have to take the power to notice, hey, this shit's negative, right? I'm gonna take control of the situation. I'm gonna take control. I'm in control of my life. Nothing's gonna control me. I'm in fucking control, right? So like all these negative thoughts, I'm just gonna let them brush off to the side. Like it is what it is, you know. But
Mhm.
you take in the positive stuff. You read these books, sit down with yourself, you meditate, you visualize what you want to be, who you want to be. You read these books, like all that stuff. It just feeds your mind, and you limit the negative. I mean, limiting the negative is the biggest thing because negativity is so powerful. They say like it takes five positive things to eliminate one negative thing, and it's
Or more,
or
or
more. Yeah,
more.
I mean, it's insane
Yeah.
the negativity, and it's and once you could become this positive power source, you feel good because now that I'm a positive person, I can make big leaps in my life, but not only that, the ones I love, right? My parents, I've been seeing my parents making such crazy changes. Like I said, they're always negative, but now I'm like, hey, I call them out on a negative, make them aware, and then once
Mhm.
they're aware, like, oh shit, I am. Whoa. And then I'm changing. I'm spreading the love to them, and they're getting more positive. And all the ones I love, I can love better because I'm positive. I'm not bringing other people down with me. Because when you're
Great
negative,
point.
negative is like a dark hole, man. Like you're negative, you're circling, you're spinning, and you're sucking everyone around it, and sucking everyone around.
Come here.
But you're sucking in everyone around you, and it's like you look at a doggy.
Come on, let's
What a beautiful dog, man.
Thank you.
But it's
No.
you know what I mean. Like you're negative, and everyone you bring in everyone around you, and you just bring them down, and then I feel horrible about myself, because I'm like, man, I'm so 6 months ago I'm a depressed boy. And then everyone I come in contact with, I'm bringing down with me, and it's tough. And then
Mhm.
when I'm not right, and I have these negative thoughts, or I'm depressed, whatever, and I go out and I'm at softball or at baseball, and then say I'm negative inside, but on the outside I'm acting like I'm okay, right? I'm sitting there, have this, I know I'm all happy, positive, laughing, but deep inside I'm melting. It's like, man, I fucking hate life. I'm feeding myself all these negative thoughts, right? And you're putting on this facade for your friends just so you don't bring them down, and that's fucking exhausting. It's exhausting every day. I'll go out to smile. Trying to lift everyone up around me, but deep inside, I'm still falling apart. And
Mhm.
that's not where you want to be, man. The very first step, you got to take care of yourself. And once you can become strong, independent on your own, then you can lift others up. You got to focus on yourself first, though, man. Once you can love yourself, be strong, positive source yourself, then you can focus on others. Because then you get lost, right? If you don't have that true, if you don't sit by yourself, figure out who you want to be, what's your identity, what you want in life, then you try to make everyone else happy and you lose who you are. And I've done that my whole fucking life, my whole life. I've done that because I'm such a caring person where I care about everybody. I never focus on myself. I lost
Mhm.
myself, until I found myself in fucking 6 months. I know exactly what the fuck I want now, but like, it's crazy how you can make such drastic change in that a short amount of time. But my whole life, it's like I do these things or I say these things to people just to try to fit in, just try to fit this person they want me to be, right? I, they want me to be this crazy party animal. They want me to be the fun guy. They want me to do all this. They want me to do it's no, it's what do I want in my life, right? What are my priorities? Who am I? Who do I want to be and stuff like that. And then once you know that, right, then you can say no to the things that don't align, you know? You can say no to the things that don't align, don't matter what. And the people closest to you need to understand that. And if they don't, then maybe they shouldn't be in your life at that point in time because they're not in the same wavelength, right? Because you can't once you start deviating from who you are or what you want to be, you're not going to be happy. You're not.
Mhm.
You're going to feel guilty inside. Like, this is not me. What am I doing? Like, I've done that my whole life, man. My whole life, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, and I think like, like there is like this it's almost like your soul knows. Look at Barker. But it's almost like, it's like your soul knows sometimes, right? And it's
Hmm.
just like, you feel it deep down inside of you. Like you feel that something's wrong. You feel like you need to change something.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times, because like I was this is me, right? Like I'm explaining me because like there was so many times where I'm like, I know I need to quit drinking. I know I need to get back into the gym. I know I need to stop, feeding myself fucking garbage inside of my head, but I couldn't do it, right? Like, but my soul knew. My soul knew that there was something wrong, and I was like, oh, there's something wrong right now, you know. And I think one of the most important things that you were kind of saying, like in that, when you were talking, is like that there's like a rewiring of the brain that almost needs to happen, right? Like you need to like identify yourself, like you need to identify what's so wrong, right? Or not what's so wrong, but you need to be like, oh, like, I react like this to that. I react like this to this. I say this when somebody says this or whatever. But it's like you almost need to take that second and just be like, wait, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna say this anymore when somebody says that. I'm not gonna do this when somebody says that. Like, I'm gonna react and respond this way when somebody like, you need to, like, be aware of that and then be like, "I gotta retrain myself. I gotta unlearn this thing."
Right.
Like, when I was telling you before, like, when I would do, like, construction at the house or something, I would always be like I would just fucking swear, right? Like, if I messed something up, like, if I couldn't find the stud when I was hanging, like, the fucking curtain rod or something, I'd
Mhm.
be like, "What the fucking bullshit, motherfucking bullshit, fucking goddamn it." And
Yeah,
Joanna would just be like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "Why are you like that?" And I was just like, "I don't know. I don't fucking know why I'm like that," you know?
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, like, I started noticing when I would do that, and I'd just be like, "Oh, drop the screw. I'll just take another screw," you
exactly, dude.
know?
And that's just a prime example of not letting your emotions control you, right? It,
Yes.
at that moment, yeah, I'm angry. I dropped the screw or whatever, but like, is it really that big of a deal? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I was the same exact way, man. Like, I'd go to the gym. I'm driving to the gym in a good mood, pumping in my music, whatever. I go to reach for my headphones. Fuck, they're dead, motherfucker. Steering wheel, swear in my car, looking like a maniac in my car. Who the hell is this guy's going nuts? But and it's I used to all the time. Like it's just like why? Then you're making that, and that's a prime example of take control of your mind. Control the situation. It already happened. You can't change it. Let's be positive. Okay, I forgot my headphones. It's okay.
Mhm,
I'm gonna go in.
mhm.
I'm gonna work out, and everything's gonna be fine. Like it's not
Still
that.
gonna get an incredible pump for these big old muscles, baby.
Yes, baby. And
Hold on, I gotta pause real quick because I gotta pee real fast.
yeah, man. Empty the tank.
Empty the tank, empty the tank, empty the tank. I'll be right back, sorry.
Intermission. What are you doing, Barky? Huh? Come here. Come here. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. What? What? What you doing, baby?
All right, I'm back.
There.
I had to get another cup of coffee, and then I realized I just had a whole fucking pot of coffee. So I was like, because I was holding my pee for like a couple, I was like, oh, I gotta pee a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then like I just real I was like went inside of there. I was like, I was like, I'm gonna get another cup of coffee. And I made fucking 12, the whole pot. I made 12
Yeah.
cups of coffee. Well, I set up the timer for it to do it this morning, but I started making it last night.
Mhm.
And then now, I just filled up my cup and I'm like, holy shit. Fucking this is the last cup of coffee that I have inside that bad
Ooh-wee.
boy.
Coffee's flowing, baby.
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
But yeah, like rewiring, like the brain, right? Like what were you saying? You were saying something before I had to.
I got no clue, baby. But I was playing with
No,
my,
I no,
but
I
no,
wanna say too that, like, man, I'm fucking proud of us, man. Like, look,
yeah,
we're over here becoming a podcaster, like, kind of like, like, here we are just, like, doing something, like, so different, like, so, monumental, right? But, like, but we're starting at, like, building the foundation of something monumental, and I think, like, that's, you know, like, this is episode 1, but, like, an episode 1,000, like, who's to say, like, there isn't, like, a big, top of a mountain up there or something, right? But I think that's what people kind of, like, need to, you know, um, like, keep inside of their head, right? Is just, like, you have to start somewhere, you know what I mean?
man.
And, like, but I'm so proud of us, man, like, look at us, like, out here, like, making it happen, doing a podcast.
And like me, dude, like, yeah, I never visualized myself in a million years being on a podcast, but it's just stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? Because like, and I think step one to like changing and growing, one having the growth mindset, right? Not having that fixed mindset of I'm this person, that's who I'm going to be for the rest of my life, but having that growth mindset of like I'm going to grow, 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 grow. But in order to grow, you got to, once something feels uncomfortable or you're scared of it, that's when you jump in, baby. You'd be like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
about to do this, but I'm scared. Like, for example, I'll be on this podcast right now. I don't like being on a fucking screen. I don't like talking. I only like hearing my own voice on things.
Me too.
I hate it. Like, but like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump in the fire. Everything's gonna be all right. And then after you do it, you're gonna feel so really like I fucking did it. I can do this. And then, episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. Then you feel more comfortable. And this is just a prime example of stepping outside the comfort zone. All these fears in your head are made up, right? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen if we record a podcast? I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna die. Like, oh, it's
Right?
you make up all these, and I think the Level Up book, they talk about that. The biggest thing to like, the biggest barrier to growing and leveling up your life is fear. And all your fear, for the most part, is made up in your mind, right? The fear of being rejected, the fear of failure, the fear of success. Sometimes you self sabotage yourself, and it's just all these fake fears you put in your head because you're stepping outside your comfort zone. You're not used to it, right? And you get closer to the edge of your comfort zone, and then start to feel uncomfortable, and then you're jumping back. Oh God, I'm scared.
Mhm,
And you get
mhm.
stuck in that same life your whole fucking time. So once you get to that comfort zone and say, I don't want to do it, you jump. You jump and you say, I'm fucking doing this. And then once you come out the other end, you feel like, damn, that feels great, you know? And just doing this right now, like I'm talking to you on a podcast, like I can never do this in my life. Like, I'm not even I'm not usually a people person, but that's one of my goals I set for myself is to improve my social health and just be more social, be able to lift people up with my positivity. It's just, not now I just feel like a more positive presence, and it's,
Mhm.
I'm not this negative person anymore, and I'm not, like if that person's dead, Tim point one out the window, Tim 5.0 is right here, baby, and we're only growing.
5.0.
And we're growing, baby. We're going all the way up. And it's just, you just got to leave that person behind. That's not me anymore. I'm not a negative, shy person. I'm always gonna be a little shy, but I'm
Me
not a
too.
negative person that's like scared of like social events, this and that. Like now I'm just more of a positive present. And you know why? Because you believe it. You have to believe, right? Not you. If you don't believe it, it's not gonna happen. You have to feed your mind and believe, 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 and then you can be able to do it, right? And it sounds simple, but it's manifestation, right? You're manifesting it. manifesting is such a powerful thing, right? And people are gonna think you're crazy all the time when you think these things, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna make a podcast. You're gonna people laugh at you. Who are you? You're gonna make a podcast and no one's gonna watch it. Nah, what the hell? Who are you? And blah blah blah. And it's like, so what? So
But you
what?
know why? You know
Outlet.
why I think, like, those people are gonna, like, laugh or whatever? And
Mhm,
it's I really think it's because, turn the mic down a little bit, but, like, I think it's because, like, you remind them of the dreams that they didn't pursue, right? Like, if somebody was like, "I'm a good fucking speaker," right?
mhm,
Or I can do this better than that person or whatever, right? And they never did it, but somebody else did, and somebody else is getting recognition for that thing. You
mhm,
remind them that, oh, I didn't go and chase after that dream that I knew that I could have done or whatever, right?
mhm,
But it's just like it's like that thing that I reposted this thing from Alex Hormozy last night,
mhm.
and I'll read it to you because I think it's fucking so powerful. I really do. Let me find it real fast. Let me find threads.
I mean, yeah, follow Monumental Mindsets on Threads, baby.
All day, and Instagram.
Yeah,
And when we find out, what's it? 1 follower. Oh, that's me. Let me see.
choking on hot coffee. Ugh,
All right, here it is right here, right? So it's like it's talented people do more reps than untalented people. The reps make them talented. The talent doesn't make them do the reps. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, when people are just like, when they're like, "I'm so fucking talented. I'm such a good talker. I'm such a good rapper. I'm such a good
Yeah.
singer. I'm such a good whatever," right? Like
Mhm.
it's like, "Okay, go out there and prove it," right? And I'm not saying that like we're going to prove that we're going to be like, Joe Rogan status like podcasters or whatever, right? But the fact that we're trying to do something like this, the fact that we're trying to motivate people to do something a little bit different, this fact that we're trying to motivate somebody to do something to even if one person listens to this and that one person's changed their life, right? Or like or changes one way that we said something that translated to their soul, right? They're just like, wow, this hit a spiritual element of my soul. Wow, they were really good facilitators of, of this kind of context of information, and it digested very well for me. Because like there's been people who've said like great things in the past that like I was just like, yeah, I listened to that, but fuck that because it didn't digest well with me, right? But like I remember like it was the very first person who kind of like changed the way that like I received information. And it was like this video by Russell Brand, right?
Mhm.
And I really think that like Russell Brand was like the very first person who if I'm going to put anybody like on the dream guest list for like the future, right? Like in the next like 5 or 10 or 15 years or whatever, right? Like it's going to be like it my number one will always be Russell Brand, right? Because he's the first person who changed my life like so long ago. Like it was like this spiritual element, like this authenticity from this person, like this just like spewing knowledge that was just like so incredible. And I just like I remember, I was just like, oh, I was like, I kind of I'm going off on like a little bit of a tangent here because like I forgot like kind of like what I was saying for the most part, but I think I was saying like like people don't want to try for some reason, but they say that like they're so good at something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think it's so important for you just to like, kind of like that clay pot thing that I was kind of like talking about yesterday or whatever. It's just like keep making the clay pots, right? Keep
Yeah.
making the songs if you're a songwriter. Keep making the podcasts if you're a podcaster. Keep,
Right.
and if like your thing is just like, at work or whatever, keep showing up at work and outperforming everybody,
Right.
right? It's just
Right.
like keep doing it, and if you keep saying you're the best, it's like it's kind of like it's actually circling back around to like the beginning of the podcast, right? It's like it's just re-shouting those affirmations, it's re-shouting those incantations to yourself that like I am the best at what I do, right? I am the best house cleaner. I am the best, toilet bowl cleaner. I'm the best fucking, tree chopper. I'm the best fucking, clicker on the keyboard. Like if you're the best at that, like keep proving it because if you don't do it, you're never going to prove it to anybody, you
Right.
know?
Exactly, man. It's you just got to do it. Just do it. I know I've been there. I've done that, and it's like you hear a song on the radio or rap, and you're like, this guy sucks. Like I can rap about better
Right.
stuff than this. Then fucking do it. Like if
Right.
he's out there doing it. That's why he's on the radio or whatever. It's like because they put in the work and they just did it reps, 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 and they got their name out. That happens. If you don't
Mhm.
do it, it's never gonna happen, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. If you don't do it, it's never gonna happen, right? Like, if we never made a podcast, we can dream about it all we want to. We can have this big vision for this huge podcast, right? But if
Mhm.
you never make one fucking episode, it's just like, what did you do? You just
Right.
talked about it, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
Talk
just
about
talking about something, just talking about changing your mind, just talking about changing your life, just talking about, changing, what city you live in, just talking about it is never gonna make you great, right?
it.
It's never gonna make you change, I mean, it's good to start there, right? To
Right.
change your mind, to talk about it, to tell yourself these things. It's great to start there, right? But if you just talk about it and that's the only thing you do, nothing is ever going to happen, right? You can't manifest your way into you can't think yourself into a fucking great body. You can't think yourself into a great mind. You have to put like if the barbells are for the body, the books are for the mind, right? And it's just like you have to fucking just keep lifting the books. You have to make your mind muscles just keep on fucking pressing the weight from the barbell or whatever, right? And it's like it's not only books, right? It's seminars, it's people who know more, right? It's just like it's Les Browns, it's fucking Jim Rohns, it's Tony Robbins's, it's pastors, it's all these people who know so much more. It's just like those are the weights, right? And
Exactly,
it's
man.
just like and then right the other weights, right? It's like putting the resistance bands on there, and it's just like okay, it's just like it's it's doing the work after that, right? It's just like you can lift the weights, but then it's like you have to do the work, you have to recover, you have to feed the muscles, right? Like if you don't give it the correct stimulus, like they're never going to grow.
Right.
You need that stuff.
Dude, 100%. And it's, you got to work out those mental muscles. And that's something I neglected for a long time. I used to use the gym as my escape, right? It's more of like I go to the gym so I don't have to think about my mental problems or, what's going through my mind. I go to the gym and just run away from my issues, run away from my issues. I'm working out. And then I leave the gym. Now I'm like, okay, I got these problems are still here, you know? And it's, you have to acknowledge, the patterns you don't like with your life and yourself and attack it. You can't be scared of it. You can't be scared to attack your problems. You have to take it head on. And that's one of the biggest things I've learned is you can't outrun your issues. You got to, you know, take it head on and embrace it and grow from those issues. It's
Mhm.
ever since I've done that, man, it's a huge thing because people run away from it. Whether it's running away by going to the gym or snorting coke and partying or chugging beers or just all these other outlets that people do. Luckily, I use the gym. That's not the worst outlet, but people go so many different tangents. It's not healthy for them, and working out to escape your issues is not healthy. But at least the act of working out is healthy. So I'm lucky enough to have that outlet at the time, but now it's not an outlet. Right now I work out, one for my mind and two for my body and keep it strong, just in general.
Mhm.
And people use a lot of things to escape the issues. What I'm trying to get at is, whether it's healthy or not healthy escape, you're escaping your issues, and you can't do that. You have to take them out. You have to be honest with yourself. If you make a mistake, you can't lie to yourself and say it didn't happen. I would do that all the fucking time, right? I would lie to myself like, oh, I did this. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't do that. But it's like, dude, you fucking did. Like, why did you do that?
Mhm.
The issue, and that's it. You can't run away from it. If you have to find the root cause of something you did or something you didn't like that happened and fix it. You have to fix. You have to take it. You can't run away forever. And I try to run away forever. And now I find, I said, fuck it. It's like a buffalo running from a lion. I saw a video. The buffalo's running from the lion, running from the lion. That was me. My problems are the lion. I'm the buffalo. I'm fucking. This lion's gonna get me. As I start running, it's gonna get me. You know what? I'm gonna fucking turn around and take this lion head on, and then that's when the problems go away because you attack the root cause of your problems, and that's a huge thing that you have to do. You can mask it, you can run from it. It's gonna be there unless you fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was beautiful. And I because like I now it's I think it's like 40 days I've been sober for like from like alcohol, but like I was the same way, man. And like mine unfortunately was like a really bad escape from um you know but like you said, right, anything can be unhealthy. Like the gym can be
Yeah,
completely unhealthy if you have a bad relationship with it, right? Alcohol can obviously be really bad for you if you have a bad relationship with it, right? But it can also be healthy because, like, these things obviously, like, going to the gym, like, it works on your body, it works on your mind, it works on your, everything, right? Your bone density and all that stuff, right? But like for mine, I was escaping problems by drinking like fucking dude. I would have like 15 beers, like, when I sat down and cracked open some beers. I would have like, a whole bottle of fucking vodka or something, like when me and Joanna would start drinking. But you're so right, because like once you start escaping all your problems and not tackling them head on, and not realizing that, like, that it's a problem, and just telling yourself that, like, oh, it's okay, like, if I know I got this thing that I got to do or whatever, right? But I'm just gonna, escape for the day and come back in 2 days or whatever, and feel, well, you drink today, and then you feel like shit tomorrow, and then, like, you're kind of recovering the next day. But that's usually like the third day that you would come back, like, at least for me, right? I would be like, oh, I feel like shit for like a couple days.
Right.
Mind wasn't working. But I was doing this to like escape the problems. I was doing this to kind of like escape, like, you know but they say that, like, that, like, when you're drinking alcohol or something, or like when you're doing um uh what's it called, like when you're just trying to get yourself to like the baseline again, you know what I mean? And I think that's like what the scary part is, like, about all that, is just like that, you know you have to intoxicate yourself, or like you have to go to the gym to get yourself to that baseline of happiness. It's like if you can train yourself to be like, at a good place all the time, and then you go to the gym, and then, you know what I mean, and how much better you would feel, right? Or like, in my case, right, when I was like drinking or whatever, right? Like once I can develop like a healthy relationship with this thing and be like, okay, like, I feel like I can reintroduce like a drink or two drinks or whatever, like, into my life, how much better I'm going to feel, because my baseline of happiness is going to be great, right? And then when I'm in a social setting and I'm just like not escaping a problem, or I'm not trying to run away from something, or I'm not trying to escape Joanna, or like, kind of like forget about the problems from work from the week or whatever, right? Like, and I'm trying to like solve the problems, because I think that that's really what the big shift was for me, right?
Right.
Like in a lot of things, it was like that I felt like I was not looking for solutions all the time. I was just like, that's a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem, instead of being like, okay, that's a problem, but what's the solution to it, right? And then tackling it from like the opposite way of like, okay, this is the problem, these are the solutions, this is how we're going to handle it, right? But I would just be like, this is a problem, forget about it. This
Yep.
is a problem, drink some more. You know what I mean? Because they would still be problems in a couple of days, and then I would have to handle them. But
Right.
it's like it's taking from like the seven habits of highly effective people, right? Like the four quadrants. It's just like, is this urgent and important? Yeah. Well, now I have, or was this like not important but not urgent, right? And then all
Mhm.
of a sudden, like those things, they move into the first quadrant because you didn't fucking deal with it, you know?
Right.
And like that was a lot of things for me, because quadrant 2 is always going to be like the most filled, right? But then it's like if you keep neglecting those things that are like important but not urgent, they all of a sudden become urgent, right? Because like the
Mhm.
procrastination makes you have to deal with that thing that day, instead of being like, okay, I'm going to prepare myself. Like this morning, I prepared my coffee for the morning so I didn't have to do it this morning and run late, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot. I forgot where I was going with this, but basically, it's
Don't
you
worry, me too. I lose myself all the time.
you have to set yourself up for success. Just setting up your environment for success, right? Is a big part of things, and you know, you can have the mindset, you can have everything, but you have everything around you that's going to affect you. And I mean, obviously, you're having your mind, take control of these things, but it's so much easier if you set your environment for success, right? And and like in the morning, right? When I have my phone alarm, I don't put my phone next to my bed to wake me up because I can snooze it, right? And I'll go back to sleep.
Hmm.
I lose my mornings, right? So instead, I put my phone in the kitchen. I had to get my ass up and turn the phone off, right? Otherwise, it's gonna be ringing all night or all morning, all morning or whatever. So it's just like little things like that, just setting up your environment to, you know, force yourself to change your habits, right? And make it easier on yourself, because it's hard to change your habits. You can recognize your patterns and you want to change something. It's hard to change those habits. They say you have to do something for like 30 days consistently or something like that to like become a habit, right? And,
Hmm.
and so you um, to do it for 30 days straight for something you've done for fucking, I don't know, 20 years, change something that you've done for 20 years. That's not easy. and sometimes you do it for a couple days, like, oh yeah, this is easy, you know. But then like subconsciously, you go back to those old habits. So you have to, you know, consciously just push and push for those new habits and set up your environment for success and um, whatever you can do to do that, right? Like journaling, for example. I got my journal on my table in the kitchen. So when I wake up, my coffee's made. I sit down, I journal. Boom, it's there, right? It's ready to set up. But if my journal was under my bed or something, I forget about it. I don't even think
Mhm.
about it. I have to go to work, whatever. You know, it's just little
See
things like that. And I know they're small things, but those small things make fucking quantum changes. I'm telling you, man. Like these little things, just setting up things and setting up your environment to make it easy on yourself to make these changes. Because changing is not easy. You know, changing is not easy.
See, but my journal's in my backpack, right? And
Yeah,
one of the things that, like, because I think you were telling me something like about, I think it was just like the idea of just kind of like, setting up the morning for success or something. And like that's, I think I remember like that's kind of like what changed my mind of like where I'm gonna put my phone in the morning,
yeah,
because I was like, oh, I was like, what if I put my phone on my desk, right? Because I remember I was like FaceTiming, or not FaceTiming, but I was talking to you like when I was setting up the computer desk like that that one night. And I was like, because I could never fucking get up in the morning ever, right? Like, and now I'm like on this fucking like, even today, dude, I woke up like because I set the alarm for 15, I snoozed for 15 minutes like than I usually would in like the mornings during the week, but I woke up at 5:30 today. It was like 5:35 when I woke up today, and I was just laying there, right? And I was kind of like, but I was like doing like the from the Vishen Lakiani from the Mind Valley or whatever, when he's talking about like put like when your mind is like the point of waking and sleeping, there's like this brain waves that happen, right? Or there's brain waves frequencies inside of your head. It's
yeah.
called theta, right? And the theta, you can actually like program your mind and be like, okay, like, I'm grabbing gratitude today, I'm grabbing strength today. Like you can grab these things and you can kind of structure your day. And like this is kind of like how your mind is wired for the rest of the day, right? Like you pre-program your mind for like the day, right?
Hmm.
But what I was saying is like, I remember like you were talking about structuring like the morning and like setting yourself up for success. And I was like, I wonder if I put my alarm clock on the or my phone, right? I was like, I wonder if I put my phone like on the computer desk, like because it would make me get up, right? And I
Yeah,
did it and it fucking worked. I was like, that was easy, right? And it's like it's still hard, right? Like I wake up and I'm like, fuck, this is bullshit. Like I want to go to sleep. And I'm just like, no,
yeah,
no, no. I was like, it's time to get up and get after it and get to the fucking gym, right? But like now I'm noticing like my biological clock just kind of like it's reworked itself, right? So like today, like I was just sitting there and I was just like, I was happily, kind of like structuring the morning, right? I was happily doing those things. And I was like, it's like such a like a euphoric state in the morning, like when you're kind of like in that state. And like I think it's like such a cool way to like kind of like program the day, right? Because I was like, this podcast is gonna be amazing today, right? Like and it's kind of just like setting the intentions for the day, right? And I think that's what's beautiful because I was just like, it's gonna be amazing. And so far it's fucking amazing because like you know why though? Because it's just like an authentic conversation. This is exactly how like me and you talk like when we're
yeah.
uh it's just like usually I have the phone like this and now I have some headphones and and I'm on like a microphone. So it's a little bit different, but for the most part like the context is exact, like we're not like like we're not trying to be anybody else right now. We're being exactly how we would talk to each other like on the phone. And that's what's fucking perfect about it. You know what I mean?
Be authentic with ourselves and just have a conversation. This is us having a conversation. We're just recording it, right? It's like
Right, right.
this is a quote unquote podcast, but this is just us talking on the phone every day. You know, it's
Exactly.
it's just hey, we have these awesome conversations, and let's fucking record it. So you know, people can listen in and maybe take one piece from it that might help them change their lives, right? And if we could change one person's life with this, that's a huge W. I mean, it's a huge
That's
W just for us to have this recorded for ourselves, so we can listen back to it, right? So if we have 0 followers, 0 listeners, we did this for ourselves, right? And it's like
right.
we're not we're I don't like jumping on a podcast or jumping on a video or audio and recording myself, but I'm here doing it. You know, I push past that fear.
Yeah, and then guess what? Like, let's say, like we get to like episode like 50 or 75 or 100 or something, right? And somebody's like, "Hey, Monumental Mindsets, you guys want to come on my podcast or whatever?" All of a sudden, and that's what I was talking about with the reps, right? Like the
Yeah.
talents and the reps, right? We're
Hmm.
untalented right now. We don't have any reps under our belt right now, right? But it's like eventually, somebody might be like, "Hey man, great writings, right? Or great podcasts. You guys want to come on and talk on my podcast or whatever?" And we'll be like, "Yeah, absolutely." And by that point, we'll have already had, 50 or 75 or 100 reps or
Right.
however many iterations of like this thing, right? And
Right.
we'll have a new skill. We'll have a new acquisition of something, right? Like we'll know how to talk better. We'll know how to kind of like, not let our minds like, because mine, like, I always kind of like go here and go here and go here, and then I'll go back to here and then come back to here or whatever, right? Like you're
That's how
very
we talk, right? This is our normal conversation. So just us doing this, and just doing it is a win, right? We're gonna
right.
we're gonna look back 50 episodes later and be like, damn, that was horrible. Like, like we jumped from topic to topic. We had no structure, but we did it. Step one is just doing it, right?
Yeah, just doing it.
One of the biggest things is you over plan everything. Right? We could have sat here and made a whole structured plan. We're going to talk about this, but that's such a waste of time. Just do it. And once you
Yeah.
do it, like, not okay, now where do you go from there, right? And so many people take so much time of like perfection, right? And I'm a big accuser of perfection. Like, and I'm always like, I need to, like, when I went to school, I always gotta get straight A's. I rewrite my paper 50 times. It's gotta be perfect. Everything's gotta be perfect. No, perfection is the biggest thing from productivity, right? It's not about perfection. It's about putting in the reps, right? And at every rep you put in, you're gonna be like, oh, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? And it gets better and better and better. If you sit there
Mhm.
and try to perfect it one time, kind of like that pottery story you told me, it's it's not going to be as good as if you failed 100 times and succeeded at the end, right? You have to embrace failure. Like, we look back 50 episodes later and we look at this one, like, damn, that was, like I said, damn, that was bad. Like, but that's because we're going to grow and become so much better. you know
Mhm.
it's just, we got to take step one is doing it. If we do it, we can look back on it and, okay, what can we change about it?
Yeah, and it really just boils down to like, it's skill acquisition, right? And it's like you can translate in that into anything, right? So if somebody's like, I need to start working out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well just get to the gym, right? Number one, like the heaviest weight, one of my friends told me one time, he's like the heaviest weight, but he heard it from somewhere, but it's like the heaviest weight that you lift is the front door, right? To the
Yeah.
gym.
100%.
And I think that's so correct for me, for you, for like so many people or whatever, right? Because getting
Yeah.
to the gym is the hardest, right?
Yep.
It's like it's usually like, oh, I could do something else, or I could do something else or whatever, right? But like if we're gonna go into like skill acquisition to, just translating it to the gym, it's just like you won't know how to squat when you get there. But
Nope.
just start doing body weight squats. Just get yourself there. Develop the skill of getting to the gym. Develop the skill of getting under the bar, right?
Right.
Develop the skill of putting 5 pounds on there. And eventually, once you've had enough practice, once you've done enough reps, and you won't do enough reps the first day, right? You won't do enough reps the first week. You won't do enough reps even the first month or whatever, right? But
Right.
after 3 months, after a year, after 5 years, guess what? You're going to be fucking squatting, like now, for me, it's like 275 for 10 reps or whatever, right? And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like, if I continue to push myself and push myself and push myself, it's just like, maybe you won't even be able to get ass to grass, like, your first, with 5 pound weights under there. But eventually you're going to develop the skill, right? And it's about acquiring the skill. It's about acquiring the skill to deadlift or to jump on a podcast or to what insert whatever you want, right? But just develop the skill. And you can't do that by thinking about it. You can only do it by doing it. Right. And it's just like the more you think about it, just like you were saying, the more you plan about it, the more you think that you're going to do it or whatever. Right. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, you can think you can think about that stuff and you can think about that stuff and try to get better or whatever, right? But it's like until you take action on it, it's never going to start, and
No.
you're just never going to get anywhere, like if you just think about it. You have to do it. Yeah, anything it is, you have to do it.
Just step into the fire and do it, man. You can
Step
over
into the forge.
you can think about it, plan it. Oh, this is not going to be good. It's not going to be good your first time. The first time you go to the gym, you're not going to be pushing 250 a bench. You're going to be barely doing the bar.
I mean,
Like,
I was back when we were 16, I was fucking pushing Park Place.
super
No, I'm
pump
just kidding.
250.
Yeah, super pump 250. Oh my god.
Dude, I remember that, man.
Yo, Gaspari Nutrition, you guys gotta sponsor us and fucking send us some Super Pump 250 from the old days.
That's right. That's what got us from twigs to whatever the heck we are
Some twigs.
now. You know, and people say it like, and it's crazy because you put in all that work, right? And people, and you come out at the end of that. I know we're going off on tangents in every topic. This is what we're gonna do this episode, but I'm just talking. This is what we do.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah, but like it's, and then when you come out the other end of all that work you put in, right? All these reps, then you're like, you're muscular, you're strong, and people are like, oh, look at that guy. He's a douchebag, or he thinks he's a shit, and it's no, it's like, because people are jealous that they couldn't put in the same work, right? And that's
You
just
you remind them of the dreams that they gave up on, right?
right,
They said,
right,
"I didn't have enough time to get to the gym. I didn't have enough wherewithal to, stand all these workouts or whatever," right? It's just like you keep
right,
reminding that, and that's why people are just like, "He's probably on roids, or he's probably got, no kids and no family, and no, he lives in his mom's basement or whatever, and he just fucking takes protein all day or whatever." But that's not the case. It's just
no,
like once you set your standards at that, right?
no,
It's like once your standard is like my standard right now is just like I'm gonna hit the gym 5 days a week, no matter what. And I don't do it at night. I don't do it midday. I don't do it. I mean, like because I'm busy, right? But like I carve out like the time in my day to work out and to make sure that I have a good fucking lift. It's like I carve it out at 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? Like I'm there at 5:30, 5:45, and it's just like people want to make excuses. That's really what it is. It's like I have an excuse because you have more time than me, but
no.
we have 24 hours together, right? You probably don't have a full-time job. Dude, you know what I mean? It's just like you can X fucking whatever box or whatever. And it's just like, I guarantee you that I have like maybe not much more than like a whatever, but it's just like people have so many excuses as to why they can't do it. Right. And it's just like, once you start coming up with solutions instead of excuses, it's just like, oh, okay, like I can get to the gym. I can raise my standards. I can become somebody else. I can think a different way.
Right.
Because like if you can think that your body can, become a different way, or like, and then it's just like, then you take massive action on that thing. It's just like, boom, it's just like my plan started working. Then
Right.
you start looking like you're crazy. Or then you stop looking like you're crazy.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like
and it's
Busta Rhymes said, this coffee's hitting me now, baby. Let's go.
Busta Rhymes. But no, it's like you come off with these results. All they look at is the result, right? They don't look at all the work you put in, and that's with anything, not just working out. But that's why I relate to, because I take full charge of my health, both working out, nutrition, mental, everything. It's just that's number one is your health, right? And if you take care of your physiology, that's step one. Then you can that translates into your mind, right? And I think Tony Robbins is said that himself. If you can't take care of your physiology, it's gonna be tough to take care of your mind. You know,
Hmm.
and that's a major
Change your state, change your mind.
your
You
state
know,
in your mind, or
like
exactly.
if you can change, like like if you wake up depressed and you start dancing, you're
Oh,
not gonna be so depressed. You might be a little depressed, but you won't be so fucking depressed in the morning because you changed your state. Like
exactly.
you started moving happily. Like you
Yep.
start, and I'm not saying like, listen to some fucking Elvis Presley and this is like my baby,
Preach.
blah, 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 doo. But it's just like put on something that's groovy, start
Mhm.
moving to it or whatever. And it's like if you change your state, like all of a sudden, like your mind changes, right? Like
Right.
if you start like, like you can't be depressed and have sex, right?
Huh?
Like maybe you can, but it's like once you start changing like your aroused state, like you're not gonna be like, I'm depressed, this is bullshit or whatever. You're gonna be like, no, I'm aroused, I'm ready to have sex. Like this is that, it's biological, it's instilled inside of you.
Exactly.
Like this is something that is your wiring, right?
Mhm.
And it's just like, just change your state, change your mind. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, that's a big thing. I'll go off of that. It's just when I wake up in the morning, right? 6 months ago, I wake up and I fucking blast Ronnie Radke, like songs
Love
about
Ronnie, by the way.
Ronnie. Great for working out too, man. But like, I used to wake up in the morning and because this stuff's about like being crazy in the head and this and that. So right when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh,
I
just
wake up in the morning with my oh wait, what was it? I
uh,
forgot.
yeah, I forgot how it goes too. I haven't listened to it in a while, but like I used to wake up and listen to this like heavy, like dark music, and so I feed my mind right in the morning with this stuff, and then I start my day off like with negativity, right? And
Mhm.
instead now I listen to some happy stuff. I don't know what the heck I'm listening to, but and I start dancing in the kitchen, my coffee in my hand. My dog's probably barking at me because what the hell you doing? But
Barker.
like, you put yourself in that happy mindset, and like, and it's that alone changes my whole day. Just just changing what you feed your mind early in the morning. And I think like the first like 10 minutes in the morning is such a big big thing, right? And that's what I think the importance of waking up early in the morning too, because a lot of us got to go work a 9 to 5 or run your business or whatever you got to do. You got work to do, right? But if you can wake up early enough to get some W's before you get to work, your day is gonna change.
Yeah, you've programmed your day, and it's just like it's man, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something really cool when you were talking about um that like yeah, but it's just like changing your state, And I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, like waking up with a fucking big fat W is like so important because like you set the tone for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Like for instance, like for me, right? It's just like, it's like when I get to the gym and like when I already hit a PR like on fucking deadlifts for the day or whatever, right?
Yep.
And my body weight's like dropped, like the mental state that I'm in for the rest of the day, it's just like I just deadlifted 375. I fucking weigh 175 today. It's
Mhm.
just like, everything else is perfect. Even if I run into a problem, even if the day is hard or whatever, right? I'm just like, man, like today is easy because
Right.
I hit that PR today, right? And even if the PR is just like, I made it to the gym 2 times this week, what a
Mhm.
great week, right?
Exactly.
And we might be, kind of like translating a lot of things to like, the gym, but I think the gym translates so heavily into real life. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like if you do, and I think this is kind of like where you were going with that, but it's just like if you don't take care of your body, you can't think to take care of your mind. And I'm not saying get six pack abs, right?
No.
Like fucking Andy Elliott says or whatever, right? Because I don't think it's good for everybody to have six pack abs. I really don't,
No.
because like because like just like I don't think that it's good for everybody to go to the gym at 5:45 in the morning, right? Like it's like if it doesn't fit your lifestyle, if it doesn't fit your standard of happiness, like if it doesn't like match the quality of your life, then it's not going to be good for you.
Mhm.
And there's this interesting thing. It's called the Joe Rogan complex, right? And I heard it from this guy named Chris Williamson, and it's just like, you look at Joe Rogan and he's this UFC podcast, he's this UFC commentator, he's this martial artist, he's this the biggest podcaster inside the world. He's got this beautiful house, lives in Texas, has a beautiful wife, and it's just like, most people look at that stuff and they say like, I want everything that Joe Rogan has, right? They say like, I want to be the UFC commentator. I want, the Tesla. I want all these things, right? You can name it, name it, name it, name it, name it. If Joe Rogan's got it and you go and try and like accomplish those things and you get them, it might not be as satisfying because it might not be the thing that you wanted, right?
Mhm.
Like the complex of that is like just because it's hard, right? And just because it's rewarding for somebody else, it means that it will be hard for you, but it doesn't mean that it will be rewarding for you, right? And it's just like, like six pack abs for me, maybe for a season would be cool, or even a four pack for me, like it would be cool to have, but it wouldn't be something that I would strive to maintain because not everybody that has, six pack or 12 pack or eight packs or whatever on them, it doesn't mean that they're healthy, right? It means that they're very disciplined and it's awesome, right? And it fits their lifestyle.
Mhm.
But like for me, like I like pizza. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I don't want to sacrifice. Like I like to kind of, like lift really heavy and just like, kind of like go, but I'm pretty disciplined on my diet, I gotta say. Like I'm pretty like, I'm pretty accurate like with my protein and all that stuff. But like what I'm saying is like the complex to this thing is just like just because it's hard,
Mhm.
just because something is hard and like you go for it, like it doesn't mean that it's going to be rewarding because it might not fit your lifestyle.
Right.
And I think that's important for some people to understand.
100%. And that's the importance of taking that first step of one, recognizing your control of your life, be proactive, right? That's step one. Step two, finding your identity, who you want to be, what you want in life, because everything's going to stem from that, right? You take what you want and then you develop a plan, right? How am I going to get there? But developing that, I'm lifting my middle finger up, by the way, developing your identity. Like
Fuck
one,
you.
two, oh, yeah. But like, no, like finding, dude, I'm telling you, like the biggest change I've made is finding my identity. Who am I? Who am I? who do I want to be? And that's who I'm gonna be. Because like I've talked about with you before, is my whole life I've been a chameleon. I picture a chameleon like when me, right? I'm hanging out with this group of friends, I'm acting a certain way. I'm with this group of friends, I'm acting a certain way. And it's just I'm trying to fit in and make other people happy, but I'm not making myself happy. Because
Mm.
I'm not living to my true identity. I'm living to their identity or whatever the identity, that they think they're living or whatever it is. It's I never took control of my life. I just always try to fit in, and it was exhausting because I was never happy. I'm like, what am I doing? Like this and that. And so, anyways, I go off on a tangent all the time. But
Me too.
step one, find your identity. What do you want in life? Like me, for example, right? What I want to be, healthy, fit, but the biggest thing is not even just that. It's find your roles, right? So like my roles in life, like, I want to be the best lover I can be, to the girl I'm with. I want to be the best son to my parents. I want to be the best brother to my brother. I want to be the best friend to my friends. Like those are my roles in life, right? I want to be the best engineer at work. I want to be the best in all of this. I want to run my baseball team. So those are my roles, right? Those are my roles. And each of those roles, you write down, what do you want, right? What do you want in those roles, right? And as a manager of a baseball team, I want to be influential. I want all the guys to have fun. I want to be that positive force, and just have a good. And it's just like little things like that. It doesn't have to be so crazy detail. Like it's I want to be the best lover I can be. So I want to be truthful 100% of the time. I want to be transparent. I want to be able to communicate everything. And I want that person to feel like the fuck they're on top of the world all the time because that fulfills me. That's what makes me happy. That's my identity, right? If I can make the girl I love fucking feel the best that she can be, support her in her goals, and make her life easy, and just make her feel great, I'm gonna fucking feel amazing. But if I'm
Hmm.
failing in that, I'm gonna feel horrible. And then once you know that, right, you can say no to the things that don't align with that, right? If your friends want to go out and party at a bar, I don't want to do that. I want because it doesn't align with my identity. I'd rather be at home with my girl and make her feel, loved and wanted and everything. It's just, I want that quality time for myself. It's
Hmm.
you just gotta you only have a certain amount of time every day, right? And you gotta prioritize, what aligns with your identity, which means saying no with stuff that doesn't align with your identity, right? And that's the hardest thing to do because like I love all my friends and everything, but and I love my family. They all got different things that they want to do that don't align with who I want to be. I just got to
Hmm.
be truthful about it and not do those things, right? And it's I don't want to go out and drink anymore. You can it's just I don't. I limit myself 2 drinks a week for the most part. I've been pretty good with that, and I feel good. My mind is so much more clear, and that's one habit where I've refused to you know to give up on. I'm like 1 to 2 drinks a week. That's it. With a calm mind, I can take all these actions and really, really focus in on it. And yeah, it's another tangent, but
But
we
eventually you become the beacon, like eventually you become the beacon of light to all those things that you've been, kind of conveying for other people, right? Like it just because, because like, for instance, like if somebody says like, man, I drink all the time, and and I want to change my life or whatever, you can be like, hey man, I only have 2 drinks, like for me, like during the week, right? Or if
Mhm.
somebody's just like, hey man, like, I there's like this really great thing by Ed Milet, and he says like, you become uniquely qualified to help the people, um that you were, or something, right? Or like the problems that people are having now inside of their life, like you all of a sudden become uniquely qualified to help those people because you've already been through that thing, right? So it's
Right.
just like, you have a drinking problem, like I do, like I did, or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like recovering alcoholic or whatever, right? Like recovery high functioning alcoholic or whatever,
Yeah.
if I have to put like a fucking label to it or whatever, which I hate labels. But it's just like, like if you can, if like you can, if you can identify that thing, and like you could become a beacon for that person and they come to you for help, it's just like, hey man, this is how I did it, right? Or like if somebody's like, hey man, I want to love my wife better, I want to love my girlfriend better, hey, this is how I do it, maybe it'll work for you.
Right.
you know like you become the beacon for those people.
Exactly, man. And that's that's the second part of it. Once you become strong and independent on yourself, right? You realize that you can be proactive and make the choices in your life. you set your identity, right? I know what I want in life. And then three, you set the plan to meet that identity, right? Here are my roles. Here's what I want in each of those roles, you know, and here's what I'm going to
Mhm.
do. And then once you have that set and you're strong, independent, now you can, you know, influence others. You know, you can develop these strong relationships and change others. But one, if you don't have that strong foundation and you're trying to help others, you're going to lose yourself, 100%.
Yeah.
And I've been there, done that, you know. And it's you have to become strong yourself, and you know, and you know these last 6 months of you know just becoming a strong, independent person, knowing what I want, and not and you know being uncompromisable, you know. And
Uncompromising, maniacal, baby. Hold on. Hey, can we pause real fast? I gotta pee
yeah,
again. All this fucking coffee.
go ahead.
Sorry, man.
Grab another coffee myself. Blockbuster. Ugh. I'll be right back. Hold on.
No problem. Haribo. Nice water bottle, baby.
Mm. Gotta lubricate the throat.
Dude, we've been on this for an hour and a half.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
Keep on
I got some
rolling,
gummy
boy.
bears too. I got some gummy bears. I'm
Gummy
all
bear.
ready. You like these?
What do you got? Oh, Haribo. Yeah.
Haribo, man.
Haribo. How do you say it?
I have no
Haribo.
idea. They're like German.
Are
Yeah. I
I
thought
love
they were I used to think they were Spanish,
Haribo.
but because like I'm looking for like suppliers or whatever, or wholesalers,
Yeah.
and apparently they're fucking German and like
Okay.
or from like they're straight up from like fucking Germany or something. I was like, whoa, that's surprising,
Yeah.
because I always thought that they were Spanish. Like when I seen like people have them in like the past, I always thought that they were like a Spanish like type of deal.
Yeah.
But hey, who do you think's gonna win for the Super Bowl today?
Niners.
Niners? All right, I'm going Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is gonna pull it off.
You think so?
I
Hey,
do.
I don't know, man. I like Christian McCaffrey. He guy's a beast.
Yeah, CMC is a beast. Brock Purdy,
Yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant. Like that guy is, dude. Like as soon as he started playing, like when they threw him in, like when he was like I think he was like the fourth quarterback to get thrown in that season. And then all of a sudden, like he starts fucking winning. I was like, yo, this kid is like the real deal.
And that, yeah, dude. He's Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the draft. Guys.
Last pick of the draft, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, what's his face? I think they traded Jimmy G, or I think Jimmy G was already hurt or something. Like when he first got thrown in, but there was the number one pick of the draft or whatever, right? Was the I think with the year before or whatever. Like after they traded Jimmy G, he started him, and then he got hurt. Second
Mhm.
quarterback got hurt. Third quarterback got hurt, and then he was like the fourth one to go in, and then he just started winning. Like
Yeah,
he's fucking crazy.
it's crazy, man. Man,
But we can even translate. You can even translate that into like a monumental mindset or whatever, right? He's
that's
like, I got picked last. He's like, and now I'm going to the Super Bowl, baby.
right.
Can't stop me.
Exactly. Tom Brady too, man. Just another example. Obviously, everyone knows who Tom Brady is, but
Who's that? I'm just kidding.
you know, he gets drafted. I don't know what round he got drafted. I don't remember. I don't know all the details. I'm not a deep statistician in football or whatever the heck you call it. But he got drafted late in the draft, right?
Uh-huh.
Skinny little white guy getting drafted. Like, who's this guy? And
Well, I think he was the last pick of the. He was the last. He was last round or something. I'm pretty
I
sure
don't know.
Tom Brady.
He was like fifth round, fourth round, whatever. Though he was obviously not
Oh,
very,
maybe.
a high prospect out of college, right? But he put in the work. And that just shows that like you can outwork people with talent, right? And talent
Mm-hmm.
comes with the reps because he was so maniacal on his goal of becoming such a good, football quarterback, and he's got 7 rings, the best of all time.
Mm-hmm.
When he first started, he was nobody. You know, he was a nobody. Not a nobody. You get drafted in the NFL, you're not a nobody, but you know what I mean. You got so many
Yeah.
other quarterbacks that are like ranked way higher than you, but he outworked everybody. You know.
I think it's a beautiful story though, because like when you look at it, it's just like all the you hear like those people talk about Tom Brady and like the combine and stuff, and he's just like skinny, lanky, unathletic, can't
Mhm.
run, can't do this or whatever, weak arm, right? And then Tom Brady's just like, no, he's like, I'm gonna fucking use that, and what I always think is like one of the craziest things that Tom Brady said is when he looks at who is it the owner, right? I forgot what the owner's name was, right? And he's just like, I am the best decision you ever made,
Mhm.
right? And I'm like, like when I hear, like, I don't know if you watch like that fucking ESPN documentary that they have. I only watched half of it actually, so I got to watch like the other 5 episodes. But like they go through like Tom Brady. It's Tom, I think, is the documentary, but it's fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
At least the episodes like I watch or whatever, and it's just like you hear like this story of like this dude that's just so doubted,
Yep.
right? This dude that just like never gonna make anything of himself in the NFL,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, boom, guy is somebody. Guy, fucking greatest quarterback of all time, like
No.
absolute goat, right? Winner, comeback king, you know. And I think that that's so important for like people too. Like if they're gonna watch anything from this or take anything from this, is just make sure that you're the comeback king, right? Like shit's gonna happen in your life. Like shit's gonna be super fucking bad for you. Like, there's just gonna be so many things that are so bad that happen inside of your life. But if you can just reframe that, right? And just be like, I am the comeback king. I am gonna come back from this even fucking stronger than I was before, right? Like
Amen.
I'm not going to let this thing, keep me down. Like, if you can just reframe that inside of your head and just say, like, I'm going to be so fucking awesome when I come back in 6 months or in a year or in 3 months or whenever it's going to be when your comeback is going to happen. It's just like, if you can just delay your gratification and say, I'm going to blossom at some point, but I need to put in the work and just have your mindset that my comeback is going to be so fucking awesome. if
Exactly.
you, if so if they can just put that inside of their head, or you, whoever's listening or whatever, you know what I mean, it's just like, this is like, if you can just keep that inside of your head that you'll be so fucking awesome, you'll be so powerful when you come back, but I just need tools, right?
Yep.
Like if all you have is a hammer and nails right now, and you can build a house, right? But it's very important, like if you have the correct wood or whatever, and if you have a sawzall, and if you have a chop saw, and if you have like a level, and if you have like like if you all you have right now is a hammer and nails, which is usually what most people have, if you can focus on getting the other tools inside of your life, right? And it's not to say that like me or you, we have all the tools, because like our toolbox is just going to get bigger, like the more we do this, and the more we read the books, and the more we attend seminars and stuff, just like if people can focus on the comeback, focus on acquiring new tools, focus on new skill acquisitions or whatever, right? You're going to be so fucking powerful. You're going to be so good.
100%, man. And like you said, like for example, I see it a lot like on Instagram or social media in general, like taking 6 months to disappear and work on yourself. And that's like for the most part what I did, right? It's like you really focusing on yourself. Don't let any outside influences influence what you want in life, who you are. and just really focus in on yourself, right? And then during those 6 months, okay, you find your identity. Let's get the tools to become who I want to be. What's that character I want to be in my life, right? So you got to obtain those tools over time. Like read the books, listen to the seminars, feed your mind all of this, and then once you have that, that positive, it just builds up confidence, and it keeps on. It's like exponential growth, man. It's insane.
Mhm. It's
You start
dividends.
dividends, compound interest,
Oh
man.
my gosh, my dogs are out here now.
Yeah, buddy. But,
Yes,
it's
sir.
just having that. You just really have to focus in on it. It's gonna be hard. You know, you're gonna every day is harder and harder sometimes, but then you break through, and once you break through, everything just it just takes off, and then you're gonna fall back sometimes. It takes off, you're gonna fall back, and you keep on building and building and building. But you gotta keep on, you gotta keep going. You can't give up once you fail. You
Yeah.
the more you fail, the more you're gonna succeed. Anyone in life that has succeeded has failed way more than you have. Because they learn from those failures. Look at Kobe, look at Michael Jordan, look at anyone that's really successful. They fail so many times. Business owners, they can have 10 businesses that fail, but they finally have that one business that just fucking takes off and changes their life, right?
Mhm.
You're never gonna get there if you don't try, and
Yeah.
you gotta really zone in, focus, and go for it. Whatever you want in life, fucking go for it. And just go for it. Like, don't be scared. Like, it's scary, but don't fucking be scared. So you take that fear, you push past that fear. Fear holds you back from a lot. It's held me back from a lot of things. Just in general, playing baseball. Like, oh, if I throw this pitch, I'm scared this guy's gonna fucking crank a home run against me. If you think that way, right? It's like you're manifesting it, right? And then when I think that, boom, the ball gets crushed, right? But then if I'm standing up there, I'm like, he ain't fucking touching me. I'm gonna throw this nasty slider. He's gonna buckle at his knees. And you visualization. That's another thing I want to touch on. Visualization. I can't say it, but I know visualization. I can't. I'm saying too much.
Visualization.
There you go. Visualization. I can't say it. Visualization.
Visualization.
Visualization. I don't know why I can't say it. Whatever. Fuck the shit. You visualize. There you go. Visualize. Visualize. I can't say it. But it's the power of visualization.
Them elite nuts.
Oh shit! Elite nuts. Forgot about that.
Oh, shout out elite nuts.
People looked at me so weirdly. I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of my elite nuts. What the hell is this guy talking
Oh my god. Visualize these elite nuts. Oh my gosh.
Best name. Anyways, if you haven't tried elite nuts,
He's about to pull out the canister.
those are the best nuts you'll ever put in your mouth. I'll tell you that. So tasty. But anyway, oh shit. But like when you visualize, right? It's part of like manifesting something, right? So like you visualize it, your brain's so powerful, you're gonna believe it, right? You visualize something before a sport event, before anything, right? If you visualize you're gonna succeed, you're more likely to succeed if you visualize yourself failing, right? If I'm throwing a pitch and I'm visualizing a dinger getting hit 500 feet, that's probably gonna happen, But if I visualize me throwing a nasty slide, a guy buckling at knees, me striking him out, more likely that's gonna happen.
Right.
It's crazy, and people think it's crazy, but like I don't even want to get started on all this because it's super exciting. But it's just like the power of the mind to manifest things is insane. I manifest like in these last. I manifest all this positivity. So many things fell into my arms in these last couple months since I've been putting in all this work because I manifest this shit. I think positive now. If I'm thinking negative, all the negative shit's gonna happen. I'm gonna attract negative, right? If I'm thinking negative, all the negative, I'm just going to attract it because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the negative. I'm thinking negative, all the negative is going to come to me. You attract what you are, right? But then I start working on myself and become positive, and then all these positive things come to my life, and it's been amazing, So just visualizing it and it just boom, there it is. Because
Yeah.
your brain visualizes it and it thinks you trick your brain into thinking you already have it, and then you're
Yeah.
eventually gonna have it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's like, it's so powerful, like what you just said. It's just like, it's trick your brain because, like, all you want to focus on is negativity, right? Like, all you want to focus on is, like, this dude crushing a home run. But if you can focus on you doing the most excellent performance at the bump, right? Or if
Mhm.
you can focus on you giving, like, the most excellent speech or whatever, or the excellent podcast of all time, or if you can just focus on that, right? And trick your brain and visualization is so powerful too because, like, when you you're like pretending that you've already seen this scenario before, right? Because you've already put yourself there. And if you've put yourself there and you've visualized yourself doing this thing numerous times, it's like once you get there, like the stress response of you doing that thing that you're so worried about doing, or like the speech or whatever, right? Like once you've already visualize yourself being there 100 times, the very first time that you're actually there, the stress is going to be so much lower. Like when I used to go on stage or whatever, right? Like I would practice a lot like before, right? But I would also visualize myself being up there, and then right before I went on stage, right, I would go like into the back of like a room, and I would kind of like meditate, and I would visualize myself up there and visualize like this set being incredible or whatever, right? And I think that was so powerful for me because, like, it's a very stressful feeling, like going up in front of people and performing like this thing that's like so for me it was hip hop, right? But it was like performing this thing that was so deep from me, right? But it was like trying to give the best performance, and it was like the only way that I can lessen that response to stress wasn't drinking. It wasn't like fucking getting high or anything like that. It's just like, it's visualize yourself being up there, visualize yourself being successful, visualize this set being so good or whatever, right? And it's just like once you get up there, it's just like, okay, like the response is a little bit, you're still very stressed out, but it's less stressed than if you didn't visualize.
100%, because your body's been there already. It's been there.
Yeah.
Your mind has been there already. You
Yeah.
visualize it. Your mind doesn't. Your mind thinks it's. You visualize it. Your mind thinks it's real. You've been there. You've been there. You've been there. So once you actually do it, like for real, like it's like, oh, I've been here. You know.
Hmm.
Instead of like for the very first time you jump on stage and you're rapping and you're like, oh shit. You know.
What? What?
If you visualize yourself doing it, it's almost like you're there. It's such a strong vision. I can't say that word.
Visualization.
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 And that's just
Hey, but I think we should wrap this up because Joanna just woke up and I have to get back inside now, like for the morning. But I think we should wrap this up. But I think let's wrap this up with like what does being monumental mean to you? Because you asked me in the beginning, and I
yeah.
think what does being monumental mean to you?
Monumental to me, man. Being monumental is just being mentally strong and knowing who you want to be and how you want to be. Right. It's basically being monumental. Right. Is being strong for yourself and your identity. I said identity a lot this episode because I'm such a strong believer in that. Because I've lost myself so many times in my life. I've been lost. I've been floating. I don't know who the hell I am. And now that like when I think monumental mindset is being so strong and knowing who the fuck I am, what the fuck I want, and what I'm gonna fucking do. Like just so strong on that, and I'm not gonna deviate that from that. I'm gonna be so maniacal about it.
Mm,
I'm gonna attack those goals, attack those ambitions. Nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me. You know. And just being, I remember that little Busta Rhymes clip I sent you, man. Just be maniacal. People gonna think I'm crazy. Like, Tim, he's the sad boy, he's not gonna be able to do any of this shit. You know what? I'm fucking am. Just have that mindset of knowing who I want or what I want, who I am, and attack those goals, those ambitions. Nothing's stopping me, man. Nothing's stopping me. And believing in it. I believe in myself, and that's all that matters. I don't care what people think. People are gonna be like, "Oh, you're so fucking crazy." This, that. People are gonna. But then when you come out on the other end, you have that life I always wanted. I'm gonna have that beautiful family. I'm gonna have a beautiful wife, beautiful. I'm gonna be able to, support my family, be the best fucking father, be the best fucking husband, be the best fucking, I don't know, business owner, be the, everything. I'm doing it, you know, and I feed myself that every fucking day. None's stopping me from doing that. Who's gonna
mm.
stop me? Nobody. And that, for me, that's what's monumental. Setting, knowing first, you gotta know what you want, and you know you're in control of that, right? So you know what the fuck you want, know who you are. That's the first. That's you gotta do that first, because everything else just falls into place, and you just gotta get maniacal with those goals, man. Nothing's gonna stop. People are gonna doubt you. People are gonna laugh at you, and it is what it's like. Oh, Tim, he sucks at relationships. He's been, he's fucked them up. You know what? Tim who? Tim who? That's the old me, baby.
The
That's
old
I'm
Tim.
killing that skin off, baby. I'm someone new. I'm gonna be the best fucking, husband, best father. I'm gonna have, successful business. I'm feeding myself this every day, and it's gonna happen. It's just crazy what you can do with that. And it's like for example, my baseball team last year. Like I'm the manager. I gotta take lead. I gotta be the leader, right? But I was going through some shit, and I was a horrible leader, and the team fell apart. And I take accountability for that, right? I can easily blame, oh, the team didn't do this, team didn't do that. But having that monumental mindset, I'm in control. I'm in
Mhm,
fucking control of my mind.
mhm,
And now this year I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be the best fucking leader out there. I'm taking accountability, and I'm gonna put my boys up, and we're gonna fucking win a championship. And
mm.
it's we're gonna do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're gonna do it. If you have any doubt, get that out of your mind. You're gonna do it. That's it. Monumental mindsets, baby. It's just having that strong belief of who you are, what you're gonna do, zero doubts, and don't care what the fuck anybody thinks. Who cares what people think? If you're with that girl you love and people are gonna judge you for it, if it makes you happy, that makes you fucking happy, and you go for it. If you have that job that people are, oh, he's not gonna be good at that job, or he's not gonna be able to run a business, he's not gonna be able to do this. Good, doubt me, baby. Fuel my fire. Pour that gasoline into my fire, baby. Pour it. Because it's gonna fire to get bigger, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, doubt me. Doubt me. It's just, I don't know. When I think monumental mindset, it's just you being so strong in what you want, nothing's gonna stop you.
Fuck yeah, I love that. That was beautiful, man. Wow. You fired me up for the rest of the day. Holy cow. And I want to end on something too, because like there was, what, when you were kind of like saying all that, like it made me think about this one Andrew Tate quote that I fucking really love, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you were kind of like alluding to this like in those words, and it's like, you know, you are the only person that can make this work,
Yes,
but you're also the only one who can fuck this up, you
exactly.
know? And like I think that's what, I think that's what it is, man. It's just like remember that you're the only one who can make this work.
Only
Like all your beliefs and all your everything is inside of your mind, right? And it's just like, taking accountability of like, the team falling apart and all that stuff. It's just like you're the only one who can make it work.
Take
Also the
accountability.
only one who can fuck it up.
Never blame anything that happens. Never blame your outside sources. Always blame yourself. Because if you blame yourself, you can take control of that. You can't control anything in your life but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. You gotta take accountability. You can't. Some people. Like, I relate to baseball. 'Cause I played baseball my whole life. But like, if I throw a bad throw to the first baseman, and I'm like, oh, he should have scooped that. No, I should have made a fucking better throw. It's just like little things like that. Take accountability. Because when you take accountability, you can change that. You can change that. And it's just like things like that. And it's just little things. It's just you take accountability of everything. Nothing's anyone else's fault. It's your own fucking fault. As soon as you start accusing other things, other people, other situations, that's when you're gonna fail because you can't control. You can't do anything about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can maybe influence some things, but you can't control it. The only thing you can control is yourself. So you have to look at your circle of influence, and and just be inside of that and be proactive and take charge. Blame yourself for everything. It sounds harsh, but blame yourself for everything. Because once you start blaming yourself, you can change things, right? It's like when I fucked up so many times in the past, whatever. I always look to blame something else. No, that's that fault. It's his fault. No, because that happened to me. That's why I did this. I'm negative because I grew up with negative words in my household all the time. Fucking cares? I can change that. I can transform myself to be the positive. So just taking control. Take life by the balls. Just grab that scrotum and squeeze it. But I'm fucking taking charge.
So funny. Oh my gosh. Well,
I
brother,
got fired
brother,
up.
this has been quite the first episode. This has been quite, man. I'm so pumped to go on this journey with you. You have no idea. Like you are so fucking wise. You're so like inspirational. Like you're I'm so happy that we're doing this together, man.
Yeah,
Like it's
this,
gonna
this is
be
awesome, man. And like this first episode, we went on a million tangents. We are just talking like this, but like obviously later on, we're gonna have a little more structure, a little more of this. But
sure,
this is
sure, sure.
just getting started, baby. Like
We're
you know,
just getting started right now. This is what Monumental Mindsets is about.
this is step one. And that's like we related earlier in the episode. You got to take that first. This is our first step.
This is the first step, like we're never going to know where we want to go or what we want to build or what we want to, branch off and do or how we should structure something, right? Like we're never going to know like how to do those things until today,
Right.
like after today we're going to be like, hey, maybe we should approach it this way or maybe we should do something this way, right? And now that we started, like, it's out there, it's in the ether, right? Like we officially are the first, we're podcasters, right? Like, so like congratulations on being a podcaster because
Right.
this is fucking
Exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah, and that goes for anyone that wants to do anything in life, right? If you want to be a fucking pro basketball player, I mean, it's like anything you want to be. You want to be a writer, you want to be a basketball player, you want to be a business owner, you want to be a, whatever you want to be. Take the first fucking step. Don't be scared. Take that
Just
first
start.
step. Don't try to like perfect yourself to do it. Like if you want to be a basketball player, you're not like Steph Curry, for example. I remember that example, right? He's not the best shooter in the NBA just because he calculated his shot. He didn't sit down, he didn't write down like, oh, how should I shoot? No, he takes fucking thousands of shots in every practice. Repetition. Just do it. Just go out there and shoot, 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 shoot. Now he's
Do
the
the
best
reps.
shooter in the NBA. Reps, If you never do it, you can't just over analyze things. You do it. You take that risk, you jump into the fire and go for it.
Do the reps. Well, brother, I gotta get inside,
Yeah.
but man, I love you, and this is beautiful. I can't wait to post it and fucking
Hell
and get
yeah.
it out there, and I can't wait to charge the rest of the day so fucking fired up and with an entire pot of coffee inside of this
Yeah,
belly,
dude, I'm
baby.
about to go hit the gym and get pumped. I'm so pumped up right now, man. I'm ready to hit that
Yeah,
gym.
me too, man. This was beautiful, and I think every Saturday or every Sunday or something, I think let's continue this trend and just try to get it like every single week if you're down.
Repetitions, baby. Take one thing from this episode: repetitions, baby.
Repetitions,
Whatever you
baby.
want, you see that goal and you keep on. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And eventually, you're gonna break through and be fucking good. Right? It's like
Beautiful,
so. Yeah.
beautiful. Well, all right.
That
Well,
wraps
brother,
up episode one.
go
Monumental
crush that.
Mindset. Oh, you have to be a little minor. I didn't even forgot about that. Ooh, ooh,
All
ooh.
right, brother. Well, I'm gonna end this right now, and then crush that workout. And everybody who's out there and they made it to the end, continue to be monumental, baby. Monumental starts inside of your mind.
Monumental, baby.
All
Peace.
right, brother. I'll talk to you.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.